you guys should never give up on hope. And the reason why I say this is because if you guys ever like working towards something or you're trying to accomplish something and things may seem difficult or you're not making any progress or just not seeing anything really good coming your way just after working so hard, some people would like to tend to want to give up. And the reason why you should stay hopeful and not give up and keep working hard is that eventually it'll all pay off. And I know it may not seem like that right now, but trust me, you just have to have patience, and good things come to those who are patient, because I mean, right now, there's a lot of people trying to do things, work towards things, and, a big thing that people are trying to do are trying to, make content and blow up on YouTube. It's a good example that I like to use is the fact that you shouldn't give up on hope on your YouTube channels or anything, or what you're trying to do here is because I understand that there are people that are trying to make videos all the time and they may not always succeed or do too well, and that's perfectly fine. That always happens, and people will see that and they think about giving up, but they shouldn't. They should be patient and keep working hard, and eventually it's going to pay off because I kind of have those moments where it'll be consistently bad, where I'll have videos not do well, and it doesn't seem like it'll get any better anytime soon. And of course, I always get that feeling of, man, I just kind of feel like maybe that's it. Like I shouldn't do this anymore. But thankfully, I didn't give up. Because obviously, as you guys can see, my channel ended up doing a lot better, and now I'm getting a lot of other people joining and watching my stuff, and it's been pretty cool. And my hard work is starting to pay off, and that's great because obviously I want my channel to, grow and, to eventually hit goals of hitting, thousands of subscribers and all that, and, eventually maybe even getting my channel monetized. And I know it may not seem like I'm doing the absolute best sometimes, and, sometimes I feel like, there were times before where I felt like giving up on hope and thinking that, oh, my channel is just done for, like I, wouldn't grow or anything. But of course, I decided not to give up on it. Kept working hard, and as you guys can see, I'm doing better on the channel. Things are going well. As of recently, some of the videos aren't doing the best that they've been doing. But you know what? I realize that there's always going to be phases like that, where my channel won't do that great. And, the fact that it's happened, sometimes, and that it's pretty consistent where I'll have moments where it's not doing great, and then, I'll make more videos and it'll just go back up to doing great, like it's inconsistent, but it shows me that, hey, eventually, it's possible for me to get back up into a better spot in my videos and making content that people want to watch. So that's why I continue to keep working hard and not give up, because obviously I know eventually my videos will start doing well again. I just gotta obviously make the right video and see if people want to, watch that said video. Which is why, it kind of gives me that encouragement of not giving up on hope, because obviously, you know, my channel's been growing, a lot more views, a lot more watch hours have been going in, I'm getting closer and closer every single day to getting monetized. I feel like I shouldn't give up, and I know, it can be harder to start a brand new channel from scratch, and, I get it. It can be really tough. A lot of people are definitely going to feel like it's going to be too hard, but I encourage you all not to give up on what you're trying to do, because it's not even just YouTube alone. It's other stuff, like, obviously hard work pays off, you just gotta have a lot of dedication. And yeah, maybe it's gonna suck that sometimes you may fail and you may not, succeed all the time, but, obviously, you can't always just do great on the first go. Like, you're eventually going to fail at something, and that will always happen in life. But you can't let these failures hold you back and, make you give up, because obviously, if you're holding yourself back and giving up on what you're doing, you might not, you'll probably prevent yourself from getting into a future that is a future that you want to be in, success that you'll, would have had if you wouldn't have given up. But of course, you never know that because you gave up, right? So I encourage you guys not to ever give up, because yes, I failed once on YouTube. I made another channel before this. I have, it died. It didn't do well. And I was like, okay, let me start over again with this channel. And, here I am now. So I didn't give up on YouTube, and I'm glad I never did. And it's not just, and like I said, it can be other things. Like another example is well, baseball. Back in high school, I decided to get back into baseball after quitting a couple years like before. And obviously I wasn't that great at the sport. I was very rusty, but I put in a lot of hard work and dedication. And yeah, I wasn't the best player ever, but all my hard work and dedication paid off, and I actually made the team and got to play baseball for a little bit, and it was great, you know. And like you say, if you're working on other stuff like maybe an assignment, maybe trying to get a better grade in school, right? You want to pass a class, you dedicate the time to study, work hard, get good grades on your assignments and your tests, your quizzes, exams, and eventually, if you can get your grade up to a point where you can pass the class, that shows dedication, and that you'll feel good the fact that you didn't give up on the class, because that's a big thing in college that a lot of people do, is that if they start doing bad in classes, some people decide that maybe they should just give up and not, dedicate their time to do better in the class, and they'll just either drop it or they'll just fail the class and not put any more effort to at least try and save their grade. Like, it happens a lot more than you think, because obviously college is pretty hard, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't always just give up on hope, because you just gotta really, the whole thing about this is just not giving up, and I know that's a hard thing to do sometimes, especially when things are hard, but nothing in this life is, easy, like, I mean, there are easy things, but, if you want to get into a better place, if you want to find some success and build up to something much bigger, for yourself and your life and all that, it will be tough. It always will be. I always hear, people that have become successful or been able to accomplish something big, that they think is a great accomplishment in their lives. They always mention that it's never easy to hit that, goal. So you guys got to understand that these kinds of things will never be easy. And obviously, you may have moments where, you might, lose your hope, but you can't do that. You can't give up. You can't always think negatively, because that's another thing, if you're always thinking negatively, it may affect the way you think about doing things, or may not give you the motivation you need to go and put in the work and the effort to try and accomplish the thing you want to accomplish, because obviously the way you perceive things, your perspective on things, like, really matters a lot, because obviously if you're more positive and you're more dedicated to want to spend the time to actually improve and do better and actually do the best you can, then yeah, things will be, easier, and, you may find more success. And of course, sometimes you may not succeed regardless if you do that or not, which, I mean, yeah, it sucks, but, uh, I mean, like I said, it's not like just because you do these things doesn't mean you'll always, succeed. So if you fail, obviously if you are trying not to give up and you want to keep working hard and try to, hit that goal, obviously the best thing to do is to start over and, try again. Just, pretty much, it's a lot of trial and error, when it comes to a lot of things in life, and a lot of things you want to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just like, oh, you failed, you just give up, or if you failed and try again, it's gonna be easier or anything. No, it's not anything like that, like, there's a lot more, you know, when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's not as simple as, like, oh, I failed, I can just do it again, and boom, easy, done. No, like, obviously it's not gonna get easier once you do it again. Obviously, you'll learn from your mistakes, you'll try and, work harder, do what you can to prevent yourself from failing again, don't want to fail, like, this again, or in the same way that you did before. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta pretty much just, what am I trying to say here? Pretty much, uh, not, always get up, pretty much, always get back up, because yeah, things may put you down, and you may want to give up, but you can't always stay down, always gotta get back up. But, yeah, anyways, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I just wanted to spread this message and just kind of let everyone know that they should never give up on hope, and that they should always, try to accomplish their goals if they can. I understand that the sad reality is that you may never, there are a lot of people that are never gonna be able to reach the goals that they want to accomplish, and, You know, that sucks, but it happens, you know. But of course, you know, the best thing you can do is always try, you know. Because at least you can say you tried. But, yeah, anyways. That's gonna be it for this video, though, you guys. Just really wanted to spread this message today, you know. Because obviously I've been kind of, you know, dealing with some, stuff here, you know, on YouTube. Kind of like, you know, seeing how things haven't been doing the best, but I'm doing my best to try and kind of pick things back up. Because obviously I've gone through these phases where there are times where videos just don't do great, you know. And of course I wanted to just, you know, say, you know, just kind of explain this kind of stuff because I have that kind of mentality when it comes to YouTube. And also, it doesn't only have to apply to YouTube. Like, I'm just saying, it can apply to other things. Like I said, I gave examples like playing baseball. You know, it can be school. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can be stuff like that. So I don't know. Just pretty much stuff like that. But anyways, I just know, you know, I'm not gonna give up. I want to keep working hard and making more content, obviously. You know, I'm not gonna give up on hope. You know, obviously, I think I'll make it to a pretty good place here on YouTube. But I'm gonna do the best that I can. Of course, I always try my best. You know, we'll see how this video does. But yeah, anyways, enough of the ranting. That's gonna be it for this video, though, you guys. If you guys have made it this far into the video, I hope you guys enjoyed. And thank you all for listening. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, guys.